So the purpose of these values reports is to provide an evidence base on what wellbeing looks like for Māori and Tāmaki Makaurau, and to do that in a way that's meaningful and that privileges Māori worldviews and priorities and interests. And that's a really different approach, because most of the past approaches to looking at Māori wellbeing has nearly always prioritised Western concepts of what wellbeing looks like and privileged the interests and the agendas of and the needs of others, such as government departments or councils or researchers. So this is a really different approach. So each of these reports is focused specifically on one of the 5 Māori values in the IMSB's Māori plan: kaitiakitanga, manaakitanga, whanaungatanga, wairuatanga and rangatiratanga. We've all seen frameworks with those values of wairuatanga or rangatiratanga or manaakitanga, but they haven't necessarily been operationalised, to be measured. They're hard things to measure, let alone develop indicators that can then be used to monitor change over time. So that's one of the things that's really different here, is this sort of cascading approach that's Māori values centred to provide a picture of what wellbeing looks like, and then to get an understanding of how that's changing over time, and then what can be done to actually improve that. There's a lot of frameworks that often assume what's needed to kind of enhance the well-being of Māori, but those assumptions aren't actually coming from the Māori communities themselves. And what makes this work different is that right from the start, IMSB engaged with mana whenua and also mātā waka communities and asked them what was actually important to them for their well-being. It's very much a bottom-up driven vision of what wellbeing looks like, rather than a top-down one, sort of driven by people at their desktops who really don't have any understanding of the needs and lived experiences of what goes on in communities. Because these values reports are based on Māori values, they are inherently strengths-based, and you can see that, for example, in the outcomes around supporting resilient whānau, strengthening Māori communities, protecting taonga Māori, and the mauri of our taiao, so our rivers, our lakes, our seas, and our lands. So that's a really different way of thinking about wellbeing, that is not only Māori value based, but also inherently strength based. Now these Māori value reports have been produced, you can't say now, I don't know what Māori wellbeing looks like. Now that the indicators are there, you can't say it's too hard to operationalise. The work's been done, the resource is there, and the challenge now is for partner organisations to step up and do the work.